德玛西亚视频站，视频背景音乐、选手主播天赋符文、隐藏分查询，就在王者学堂。还等什么？赶快扫描微信二维码，关注我们微信吧！喜欢猫咪的你，就来关注我们微信吧。
Performed great across the board.
Yeah, definitely, and we see the priority here from LYON immediately banning out that Poppy and banning out the Ryze themselves, as well as the Syndra expected ban coming out of the Chiefs.
Syndra, you need to permanently ban this pick, so not expected to see, but the Poppy, a little bit of a surprise. I guess the ability to really stop what Lee Sin was doing in the previous game with the steadfast presence is something that they don't want to deal with, and we most likely will see maybe a Lee Sin first pick, just allow Chaser to have that stellar performance and single out whichever member of the Chiefs is doing best.
Could also open up a bit more kill pressure in the top lane, you know, not having such a kind of absorbing, tanky top laner. If Swiper doesn't get his hands on that Echo, maybe he goes the route of like the Kennen or even the Jace, that doesn't get banned out.
And we do see that they have a bit more freedom here as they're on the blue side, banning out the Cassiopeia, also out of that mid lane, and now the Chiefs contemplating their last ban, which of course will have implications, maybe giving that Lee Sin first pick to Longzhu, or maybe that Echo again.
Most likely just Jace. You really don't want to let that pick go through right now with Poppy being out of the pool. Somebody that will most likely lose the laning phase and lose the turret, but
Echo.
It's the Echo. So Jace, Karma, Lee Sin being power picks, so 3 picks being up is quite good.
There we go. Not a second they thought about that. Jace first locking.
But again, it creates a very volatile top lane. Now, there are options for Swiper. He can go towards the Gnar, he can go towards the Kennen, but the kill pressure is there. Like, Jace will completely dominate a lane phase to a point once he gets his abilities, once he gets his itemization, you know, really abusing those melee range matchups. But the fact of the matter is that we have so many carry junglers running around that they have the burst damage that there is going to be kill pressure 100% in these top lanes.
And the danger with letting the Jace go through is that this was actually their one win in their match against Jin Air, where they're able to have Jace really pop off in whichever matchup. If he's against the likes of a Kennen, the mob Malmorty is going to allow him to just scale so much and really just bully that lane throughout the later stages of the game, and they might be able to get an advantage so big in the laning phase that the mid-game decision-making becomes that much easier and less likely to screw up.
Yeah, we'll see what the Chiefs has as an answer to that. They are going to go to the Karma, even though EJM is not his favorite champion, but it is still very effective, and Olaf in the jungle left for Spooks.
And it's such a great tandem of champions coming through, the fact that you have the Ragnarok and then you hit the speed up with the Karma. She has great lane control again. The thing that I didn't like about Sheik's bottom lane is they gave complete control away from the shove. Karma, even if Raze wants to go back towards that Ezreal, will be able to supplement the lackluster wave clear with her ability on Q.
Well, I can't help but wonder that they're going to try to combo this Karma with a Kennen pick here. Kennen Karma being a really good lane or combination here, just speeding Kennen up and allowing him to hit the backline. And it's just going to be a matter of accelerating the game to the point where Jace does not have to split push nonstop against Kennen, because he will win that fight and Longzhu will get easily easier. So taking it here and allowing mid lane for counter pick is pretty nice.
Yep, it is second rotation, then Lee Sin and Victor coming in. Indeed, much of the same there with the Jace added in that pool.
Here's my concern if your composition is entirely reliant on Kennen, and this is a bit of an abstract theory, is that if you're incredibly reliant on flanking vision to make sure that you can get that Kennen into the backline, like if that's what your composition really needs, you know, getting Olaf back there, it becomes really predictable in a sense that then Longzhu just get to sit back and say, okay, we just play in the lane because that's where they're weak. They need to have the flank, and as long as our flanks are covered, they pretty much have 0 plays because they can't just run front to back, especially across from a Lee Sin, who, if they choose to lock in this Kennen, will just kick away.
Well, now they have a ton of more engaged to actually add to whatever pick they decide in the top lane. And frankly, I think that they don't even need as much engage. If they were to go with a Kennen, I think it's still going to be the most likely choice, as it's the safest thing you can pick into
range
the Jace.
Range, yeah.
Exactly. But it just adds another option of CC, and it should be easy if they're able to combo it onto Victor. That is most likely not going to be running Cleanse. That if you can hit him with an arrow, if you can hit him with a flash Kennen ultimate, you can pop him immediately and essentially win a fight. But there's just so much damage onto the likes of Longzhu here if they lock in the Jace, or the Jhin.
The Jhin rather, yeah, that seems to be what they are thinking of for their answer on the Karma Ashe lane.
I mean, it makes perfect sense. Jin is effectively the pseudo Ashe, or Ashe is the pseudo Jin. It's long-range engagement that has a soft or hard CC attached to it, as well as hyperscaling damage late game. Jin, of course, is carrying a bit more burst damage. I would still give lane control then, because it is a melee support in the Braum to the Karma and the Ashe. So all eyes on Raze and EGM, and if they can actually abuse this, or if Fury's going to be able to just push with his bouncing grenade.
So all we need now to round out the composition is the top lane, and for counter pick as a last pick for Swiper to see what he will go to. What are we making of this composition? What fits perfectly here for you guys?
I think that the Kennen, or maybe even the Nara, I really don't think there's a whole lot. I mean, maybe if they feel crazy, they can try something like Kled or Rumble, but that's most likely just going to get stomped. If the meta pick seems to be working, because last game there was nothing really to stand out, and they were able to keep up. Oh, this...
Hover.
Oh, a Renekton. I mean, he did hover Tryndamere. He might consider it in the same kind of category of hovers, but it could work, I suppose.
Yeah, we'll see in a second what they decide to round out their composition with, as they need a strong pick. Kennen seems to be what they will go for, and it will be key just to keep Chaser from that backline and be able to pull those flanks off and pull them off themselves in the late game and have counterweight to that.
Okay, so we have two very different compositions here. Both of them have great 5v5 because they have a lot of strong AoE. You've got Victor on one side, you have Kennen on the other side. That's pretty obvious. But the thing that Longzhu's composition is really good at is sieging. If they ever approach a tower, you know, you open up the Jin ultimate, you have the Victor laser for the wave clear, Jace for the poke. And the thing is when you have a sieging composition, you're powerful all the time as long as you're sieging. If you have a big 5v5 wombo combo comp, you want to fight around monster objectives. Those spawn every 6 minutes. So your windows of when you want to fight and when you're powerful, it's a little bit harder to orchestrate unless you can lure the other team into you. So if Longzhou are consistent with their vision, which they shouldn't, or which they haven't been, they should be safe here.
And the big thing is the Braum shield against Orianna ball. That's such a crucial thing because it stops the ball from moving. If you're not keeping track of it, the ultimate, that shockwave, is not going to hit anybody, which means that the only ways of engaging are going to be from the flank, even though they have multiple avenues. So Swiffer is going to have a really on-point game to have a solid engage.
And there's just so much on this kit as well. You've got Jace and Lee Sin in terms of knockback to disengage the Kennen.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Both teams have chosen their compositions for game 2. Let's check in our casters and get into the game.
Thank you very much, Shocks. Welcome back, guys, for game 2. Longzhu up 1-0 now. Going to try to close this one out over the Chiefs. Some interesting team compositions coming out here. Of course, we have that Kennen coming in against the Jace, my personal favorite champion. So I'm glad that I actually get to cast him while he's meta.
It's a really fun one. It's great just because these comps line up against each other very clearly. I think they hit the nail on the head in the analyst desk. Sieging going to come in from the Jace comp, and then another 5v5 engage comp. Getting into the late game where your 5v5 comp is strong worked really well for the Chiefs up until that final engage from Chaser in game 1. Why not try it again against a team that has that familiar style of not being able to close from the mid game?
Yep, and we weren't sure when the Jin was going to come into the draft, whether or not it was going to be Ezreal actually replacing him for Fury, but Fury will be going back to this Jin. He's one of the early adopters of that champion in Korea.
So the reason why the Jin is so important here is you have a lot of long-range damage like the Jace poke, and then Jin's initiation with the Deadly Flourish. So the Deadly Flourish is really important here. It's riskier against the Olaf. We saw Ezreal picked against Olaf before, just for safety. They've taken Jin because they need Engage to actually open up their siege comp, to have other options than just being flanked by Kennen, Orianna, and the other cavalcade of Engage from the Chiefs.
Yeah, we can see Fury trying to entice Raze, draw him into that brush, but he's not going to fall for it. He's just going to go ahead, stick around in the river. As we can see EGM just sitting in the brush. So the rest of Longzhu just going to go ahead, give up on this chase, and they'll go back to base. So Chaser back on this Lee Sin, had some questionable kicks. The sideways one in the mid lane, not so good, but the game-winning one, I guess we could kind of say, on to Swiffer at the very end there. We'll see if he's going to have a bit of a smoother performance coming into game 2.
Let's just talk about windows of power here, because once again, Chiefs, it's Orianna, it's Ashe, it's late game, mostly, of course, unless you get a bit of snowball in the early game. For the Chiefs, that's when they will be pretty unassailable. There's almost no way for this Longzhu 5 to match up against the Chiefs at equal gold at 6 items. But for Longzhu, they kind of have 2 opportunities here. They have the siege we talked about, which can be risky. But the other thing they can do is split push with Expression. And if you haven't followed Expression's career, was playing in 2013, been around a long time, took a break, much like Prey did, and is now back on the Rift. He plays a lot of Echo. He used to play a lot of Jax. Jace also. split pusher. This guy has always been known for his split pushing, and the split push from Jace, if he gets ahead, Kennen tries to make a teleport play, Jace pops the hyperdrive, the W, a couple of times, your turret's dead.
We'll see if it hits that point, as Crumbs mentioned. Expression definitely going to be needing that early Hex Drinker to sustain through the damage, and Swiper's going to be looking to output on this Kennen, because we've seen some very dirty Kennens as of late. You think back to Smev, of course, at the World Championship, coming in, just completely sweeping through and deleting multiple members, so.
But of course you have that flexibility, right, Achilles? It fits so well with more Moines. It's still at 621, so it still builds out of armor penetration, so nice build part. Jace, the mana cost going down means he doesn't have to build tier. You can rush more Malmortius against Orianna Kennen, feel fantastic as Expression, and there's no way to be burst by the Kennen.
That's very true, but it's going to come down to those crucial team fights in the late game, unless Expression can really get out of control. We can see the roam down now. Spook's actually coming up to the top lane, trying to get onto Expression. He's going to smack him away with the E and the hammer form. Meanwhile, down in bot, Raze too far forward, going to get rooted. That's going to be first blood going over to Chaser.
Yeah, both carries, whether it was Expression or Raze flash, but was just too overextended was the Ashe, was taken down. Expression got to safety. 3-minute gank on both sides, but Longzhu crucially come up the winners.
Yeah, I'll have to see if maybe we can get a replay of that one in the bottom side, because Raze just way too far forward. The flash not enough to save him. Didn't even use the heals. Knew that he was going to be dead. But a first blood onto this Lee Sin is going to be very deadly as we move forward here for Longzhu.
Yeah, really deep vision actually coming from Frozen. He has no eyes on where Spooks is at, so he doesn't know which side of the jungle to hug. Probably going to be the right side now at this point, as the last time we saw Olaf was top lane.
Yeah, meanwhile, he's just stealing away, and it looks like Chaser just got a free walk in, the exhaust down onto the Ashe.
I mean, Pure just walked up, exhaust, autoed, the first of the concussive blows is there, and you know what was happening from there, so nice play from Longzhu, and because that mirror goes to Longzhu, they can continue to play around the bot side, and it's a no-flash Ashe. There's definitely plenty of engage with Deadly Flourish and Lee Sin showing up on bot lane to rack up a couple more kills for Longzhu.
Yep, it's a good start so far for them, but you know, judging off of last game, and
good starts for Longzhu.
Yeah, so, you know, several of their games in the past, a good start for Longzhu doesn't mean a whole lot.
Again, it's just an insane stat. Second and gold difference at 15 in the whole of LCK, and only avoiding playing in relegations a week before the end, finishing 8th out of 10. Longzhu have the early game. They've got the formula for it, but the tonic they need is getting into the late game. And with Chaser, was it beautiful? Was it clean? No, but it was better. And better is an important step forward for Longzhu.
I mean, you know, big part of that stat's going to be that massive upswing that they did have at the end of the season, avoiding, or helping them avoiding relegation, getting that 2-0 victory over SK Telecom.
Chaser. That's the kind of fun thing. And Chaser, I talked about the fact that he was maybe the best respected jungler in Korea in 2015, as the junglers meet each other on your screen. Spooks is pretty overextended. Jace could come here, but no way for Chaser to duel himself.
Spooks does a hell of a lot of damage. It's going to be the Shock Blast coming through from Expression. He gets a little bit of damage off Frozen, running up as well. Spooks might just be dead to rights, and it looks like he is. Tries to go in, get a kill onto the Lee Sin, but it's not going to happen, and that's a blue buff transfer over to Expression. Longzhu could not have planned that better.
Yeah, Expression now, if he shops, gets a Hex Drinker, has blue buff, can just run away with the top lane. Nothing Kennen can do in that regard. Spooks didn't find a space to pop his Ghost. I don't know if it just came up, but obviously see that it's up right now. It's awkward times for Spooks. But just to come back to Chaser for a second, the reason why I talk about that reputation in 2015 when Chaser was held as the high standard of jungling in Korea, had that down year this year, but interestingly, despite debuting in 2013, this is his first chance playing internationally, makes that long-awaited debut. Reminds me of another jungler that made a big debut in the Worlds in Ambition, had been internationally, but of course his debut at Worlds propelled them to the final. Nice to see Chaser get his moment on a different stage here at IEM Oakland.
I thought you were talking about Peanut at first. I was like, yeah, Peanut is debuted at World, and then you're just going that's completely different.
That happens sometimes.
I just love Peanut, man. But you can see right now, it's going to be 600 gold in favor of Longzhu, just with those 2 kills coming through. So Chiefs, they're holding on for dear life, have some CS advantages. Olaf, despite getting killed, still has a couple up over top of the Lee Sin, because he spent so much time inside the jungle of Longzhu. And Swiffer as well is going to be pretty comfortable with about a 10 CS lead.
The big goal here for Expression is to try and force Swiper to teleport back into lane to stop the Kennen flanks in bot lane. But he's already playing around that top side. Olaf tried not to be exposed on what I believe he hasn't been since. They're looking for a turret dive in top.
Yep. Swiffer looks like he's just going to be going back to base, but here comes Chaser, lands the Sonic Wave, goes in with a resonating strike. He's going to slow him up with that E, and despite the ghost, he's going to go down. Chaser does have to use the flash to confirm the kill, but there it is, 3-0 now for Longzhu.
And we're seeing these mirror engages. Saw top and bot, which went to Longzhu. This time, Chiefs waiting around top lane, not getting the lane in the right spot at the right time. Well, Expression actually overextend. Chaser's here to relieve pressure, though.
Yeah, he's taking out that Scuttle Crab. That's going to be... Spooks hovering around in the brush, has not revealed himself yet, but Chaser's running up. He's going to have to get out of that brush sometime. Swiper going to start running down so he can get the jump in onto the Lee Sin, but the Dragon's Rage finds both of them. That's going to be Spooks going down. Slicing Maelstrom's there. That will be the shutdown for Swiper, and he's going to zip his way away with that E. Looks like he's going to make it out alive. So a nice kill picked up here for the Kennen, but that's still going to be Chaser going down, and Spooks as well. Now it's going to be the curtain call opened up in the bottom lane. EGM took a couple shots, but he's still going to be relatively safe. Wow, actually bends the bullet around Raze at the end. You get that nice hit in onto the Karma. Not going to find a kill, but that is going to be pushing them back potentially to the base as this wave crashes into the turret.
I think the Chiefs actually played the 2v2 up top smartly because Lee Sin had already used his flash. They knew Swiper would register the full damage onto the Lee Sin. Olaf always outtrades a Lee Sin this early in the game, so they felt confident to perhaps get a kill advantage. Trading when you're behind in experience is pretty good, as we saw those Expression Echo TPs making one on the Jace here as well.
Yeah, Expression coming down. They'll actually stop the back with the W. EGM not going to get hit by that shock blast. They get the stun in from the Ash Arrow. Expression goes in onto EGM. The tether coming through, but Expression follows up with a flash of his own, takes him out with the pummel. Now he's getting slowed up by Raze. Going to turn this one around. Shock blast coming through. Exhaust down. Chaser not going to find the Sonic Wave. The W not going to connect, but it doesn't even matter. Pure is there to finish him off with the Winter's Bite, taking the kill for himself. 6-1 on the board. Longzhu starting to run away with this one.
We did see teleport for Swiper was to lane once again, and Expression even on Jace, a laning focused champion, making the map plays. Really trying to shrug off his kind of well-known identity as a split pusher. It's been the team plays here in this series, both on Echo and now Jace, that are helping Longzhu accelerate the game that Chiefs have been second best to at every game.
Frozen and Chaser coming in. The Dragon's Rage on the Swiffer. He's got the command to protect to keep himself alive for the time being. Chaser going low. The flash forward. Swiffer will find it. The Shockwave coming in on the Frozen. Can he find the last hit? He's not going to be able to. And Swiffer comes up with a very clean double kill.
Really nice sidesteps in and out of vision meant it was really difficult for Frozen to try and lock down a kill.
Shock blast barely missing. Expression, he can't close the gap. Doesn't have the cooldown up to try to get the kill onto the Orianna.
Expression's a beast at this point. Already has both parts of his Mortius. Already 4 longswords worth of AD in that build.
Sure, but now 2-1 on Swiffer. He's not going to have any summoners up. Well, the Ghost is going to be up pretty soon. Won't have that flash for a while, but 2-1 up in CS by almost 20. He's going to be pretty well set on this Orianna for just 10 minutes into this game.
It's going to take a while for Orianna's kit to actually make sense in the context of the game, just because Orianna tries to walk up to wave clear to match someone like...
That's going to be the Glacial Fissure into the W. Sorry, I have to cut you off, Papa. That's going to be it. Yep, final crit shot from Fury. And Longzhu puts another one on the board.
Chiefs have been a bit tricky trying to overstay in lane. Well punished there is Raze, but for the Orianna to get value, he's going to have to walk up, and Jace's poke at this point with low armor values, Orianna is going to get punished heavily for trying to do any sort of wave clear, so it's still going to be 3 item territory. It's always been a mana regen item, death cap, and void staff where the team fight starts, so he's got the Morellonomicon, just still 2 items to put together for Swiffer.
I just have to be worried a little bit here for Longzhu. Not much of a gold lead, 800 for them, despite the 4 kills up that they have over top of the Chiefs. They're going to be looking to extend that with these turrets going down.
The standing gold is close to coming down. Your top lane's getting whittled away by the Jace. Bot lane now you can see about 5% HP on that turret.
I was going to say, I have to be worried just because of this wombo potential from the Slicing Maelstrom and the Shockwave. Swiper going to go in, throws it down, gets the stun onto Expression, and here comes Spooks charging his way in from the flank. They're going to be able to take him down. The Undertow will finish him off, and Expression falls. Chiefs now will get a nice counter push onto this top tier 1.
Sticking in the game. This was the story in game 1. Longzhu, foot on the accelerator. Chiefs, they're in the secondary lane, but they aren't allowing themselves to be overtaken by any appreciable margin. So even though we commended the map plays from Expression, now in his lane, he's targeted, turret's down, and Kennen taking Jace's turret first. You don't see that very often.
No, you do not, and that's going to be that gold going over to the Chiefs instead of Longzhu, who had already prepped that bottom tier 1 turret for the taking. So unfortunately, they won't be able to reap the full benefits And now we just have 200 gold separating these teams. Chiefs in a very good spot. Chaser roaming in. Yeah, Swiffer's going to try to jet his way out with that ghost. Looks like he might just make it out alive unless Chaser can chase forward. Actually, Shockwave comes through Spooks from the sidelines, and Swiffer gets another one. 3 kills on the board for him. Over half the kills of the Chiefs in total, and man, what a turnaround.
I mean, Longzhu after game 1, you wouldn't think they would be disrespectful after Chiefs took them to the line, took them to 50 minutes. But that was just a face check into no vision from Frozen. He thought he had the chance to be able to do that. Turned on, really nice pathing from Spooks. Spooks, 100% kill participation here on the Olaf. And suddenly the gold lead, it's there for the Chiefs.
Yeah, Spooks has just been so deep in the enemy jungle this entire time. He can just wrap around through the river and just help confirm that kill. Man, he's been doing some work here despite the 2 deaths.
It's kind of an evolution in terms of jungle priority, kind of on display here as well. We saw this in the Kesper Cup quite a lot. Teams are really liking the Lee Sin into Olaf, just because Lee Sin can make the plays. And okay, you can't 1v1, but Olaf very safe, can ward jump away in the early game. And it just feels like Lee Sin doesn't get pressured too much by the Olaf. The Olaf's a bit more predictable now that we've seen a lot more after Worlds, and all the 6-18, 6-15 meta was decided by Olaf jungle. The Lee Sins have been consistently winning the matchups, and you just compare Lee Sin to Lee Sin. It's just a big story here.
It looks like we're just going to have some vision control being fought over here in the river as Chiefs will clear out those pinks. Now let me get your take on this, Papa Smithy, because your counterpart at Worlds from Korea, LS, has been very outspoken, to say the least, as far as, I'm going to have to hold that thought, actually. Spooks has got the Ragnarok up. Looks like he's going to try to run out of here. Goes back in. Maelstrom now coming down Pure. Going to get locked up in the slicing Maelstrom. He's going to go down. Jim finds him, but a huge Dragon Rage from Chaser comes through. But can they finalize the kills? The answer is yes, as Expression arrives with that teleport. He's going to find a double kills. He takes out that cannon. The Shockwave comes through. Not going to be enough, and Frozen will pick up the final kill. 3 picked up here on the side of Longzhu for just Pure.
Another nice map movement by Expression. Really good target selection as well. They're going to get the mid lane turret. Start to open up the game. First brick was a while ago, but mid lane turret gives them a lot more control around Baron. And once we get a bit of health and tankiness onto Chaser, Expression and Fury can definitely take out the Baron quickly.
So that might have been the worst possible time that I could have asked that question. Oh, Spooks, he gets found out. Big Shock Blast comes through. He is
nowhere to go.
He's almost certainly dead. They're just going to play a game of chicken wrapping around this wolf pit.
Pops the ghost.
He's going to try to make it out, but he actually might be able to. Expression has to run up the river. Spook's going to go up towards the lane. Runs into the brush. Shockwave not going to connect. They don't get the vision on him either. He's going to start running down, but
the problem solving is pretty good here by Longzhu. Only one brush he can be in.
Yep, so it's just a matter of time.
On him in a while.
Yeah, he's going to be looking for the execution. Doesn't get the last hit, and that's actually going to be Frozen meeting him with a Q. There we go. Takes him out. And meanwhile, the Chiefs, Spooks buys them enough time. They will be able to pick up the first dragon here at just about the 15-minute mark. The Cloud Drake going down in their favor.
Cloud Drake actually pretty consequential. Extra movement speed for those teleport engages from the cannon especially. Could be vital in the late game. Valiant effort from Spooks to be executed, but actually not taking fatal damage from the inner turret allowed the Victor enough time to just come up and casually gravity transfer.
He had the style too. Oh, Swiffer going back in on the Frozen yet again. Takes him down. 4-2-1 on that Orianna, and a massive CS lead, 31 up over his counterpart. Frozen having a really rough time on the Victor.
3 outer turrets down early for Jace comp is an important thing. They are finally starting to grow that gold, but it's always at the cost of something. It was a kill in this case, but feels like one lane is always taking their eyes off the prize for Longzhu, and Chiefs are answering with kills, keeping it close, and we saw it last game with an Orianna comp. Not much has changed here. Orianna will continue to scale up and is working towards the death cap as Swiffer.
All right, I'm going to go back to my question, see if I can actually get an answer out of you. What is your opinion on the Olaf? Because LS has been very outspoken against this champion, but we've seen it prioritized so very much. In the Kespa Cup, 6 out of 8 games in the semifinals and the finals. So if it's complete and utter garbage, why is it being prioritized so much?
I mean, it's one of those things where what does Olaf bring and what does he not bring? And the late game for Olaf leaves a lot to be desired. We're going to see him on the screen. Right now, though.
Showing in the Shockwave. Comes through, Expression and Pure going low. Ash Arrow through will set up the Jason. He's going to go down. Spooks finds the kill, but he will go down in turn. Curtain Call opened up. Ejim going to flash away, and looks like Raze will make it out with his life, but Swiper, he can't say the same. 3 members of the Chiefs go down. They only find Expression for the trade.
Now, Swiper's late here once again. His teleport play has been the hallmark of the Chiefs' domination over the oceanic scene. Will often play the tanks, be there with the teleports, but his teleports have let him down. So communication, you have to imagine, on a team-wide level. It's very hard to just say it's Swiper's fault. Usually teleports are a team effort. Teleports haven't been on board. Big punishment here, taking 2 turrets. So at one point, we will talk about Olaf. But now, let's talk about the whole game, just because Longzhu are trading up extensively, pushing in multiple lanes, and this is the sort of game state at 17 minutes where the Jace comp is really hit high gear.
And we'll take another look at this one. Spooks just getting wrapped around on big shockwave.
Yeah, it's a really nice,
good.
A really good ball carrier when you have that Ragnarok. You can guarantee the Spooks will get into position, but the cannon's not there yet, Achilles. And by the time he gets in, the first 2 ticks of that slicing Maelstrom go to waste. They can walk into melee range, take 300-400 damage, kill the cannon. Need those teleports, need those engages to be on point. Otherwise, you just have to stay back. You can't look for an engage, as they did with the Olaf, if you don't have all your things together. Otherwise, you're just going to end up passing more gold off to the very snowbally Jace comp from Longzhu.
Yeah. And, you know, I don't think we really needed to talk about the Olaf anymore, because every time I bring it up, we just see Spooks die. So I think I've got my answer.
On the other side, every time we speak of Olaf, as we are right now, action starts. So that's at least good.
Yeah. Oh, maybe that's just the trigger word for the teams, and they just
It's trigger word for LS and the team.
Yeah. There we go. It works both ways. Longzhu, though, going to keep up the pressure. We'll take down this tier 2. One more hit'll do it. Get the root in onto Swiper, keeping away from that slicing Maelstrom, and Longzhu just pick up another objective. Now 5-1 in the turrets.
Just consider how much flat armor penetration there is. 20 from Expression, 20 from Fury. The armor items aren't there yet from the Chiefs. The death cap's not there, so the big AP values aren't there. There's really no answer to this siege apart from a Swiper engage, but his teleport is down. He's trying to help for wave clear, but this is where Longzhu's come. There is no answer from Chiefs. They can only stall, which very often against Longzhu is enough, but this is a Longzhu that is aggressively minded to the point where they're actually going to take the Rift Herald, an objective that, especially in Korea, has been untouched for patches.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, oh, that's something that we haven't seen in quite some time. Rift Herald will go down, and they're going to give this buff over to Expression to make him even more of a monster on that Jace. 4-2-4 on the scoreline. Not much as far as the CS goes, but a hell of a lot more participation than we've seen out of Swiper so far. The Chiefs just haven't been able to lock down the kills in these last few engages.
Swiper looks to wave clear. Expression, he's going to keep staying in lane. He's so comfortable. They have a very deep pink wards. They know that the Raptors haven't even been attempted.
Uh-oh. Fury by himself. Spook's going to be coming down, trying to find the kill. W will connect. He's got the Ragnarok there, though. TP finished, and now the curtain call opened up. Spooks, can he juke it out? EGM is there to help him out with the shield. He'll take those last few shots, but Expression is here.
That's exhaust.
Gets the pummel in, but not going to be able to find the kill. Expression gets knocked down to half HP. Ash Arrow coming through, but it's going to go wide. Raise actually, Fury might not be the intended target of it, but it's nonetheless. And they pick up a kill onto the Jhin. Nicely done. We'll give it to Raze. We'll just say that was his intended target the entire time. Nicely done, Chiefs. Finally able to put one on the board.
Able to return to mid lane as well with no map-wide advantages taken for Longzhu. So effective arrow if we couldn't tell exactly. I don't believe they had vision in the area, so could just been guessing on the recall. Regardless, gets the kill, slows down the game. Every time the Chiefs get a kill and Longzhu can't trade an objective cross-map, get closer and closer to that 35-minute stage.
Jacer in here trying to get the blue buff, not going to be able to find it. Spooks, he will go ahead and smite that one away. So at least retains the blue buff on the side of the Chiefs.
I mean, you can just look at the Olaf plays this game and kind of get the answer to your question, Achilles, is that Olaf early is very powerful. At level 5, level 7, even level 3, there's not many answers for a champion like Lee Sin to duel with the Olaf. So it reminds me of Nidalee in the way of, you enter the enemy jungle, if you have a push advantage, there's nothing the enemy can do. They have to run away if they know that your laner will come first. But in the late game, even if you build full tank, you can only commit. Your only non-committal ability is to throw an axe to maybe check for a ward, get a first slow. But otherwise, you're running straight at the enemy, and you will be focused down and kill. So a champion that's so binary, he's the Renekton of the jungle. And
Shockwave, Fury, he goes solo. One last auto attack will finish him off. Swiffer, though, gets sucked into the gravity field. The Chaos Storm is there to take him down, and he will fall frozen. Finding that one, now the concussive blow is getting ready to come through onto Spooks. Doesn't have the Ragnarok, but looks like he will be able to limp his way out to safety with the rest of the team. So just going to be a trade, the mid laner of Chiefs for the AD carry of Longzhu.
Now Ragnarok.
Far forward yet again. No Ragnarok, and he will go down. Just poor pathing coming through from Spooks, and he will fall. Longzhu picking up another kill now, 16-10 on the board, 5,000 gold in their favor.
Now, they don't really have the tank stats. You look at the lineup, Magic was just exclusively itemized for even the more Malmortius. They can't start Baron, so this is one of the safer times for the Chiefs, because it's such a risk for Longzhu to start Baron when they have literally no armor on the team.
Yeah. EGM, despite having the shield, still takes a good chunk of damage. They use that Hawk shot.
They're out of Hawk shot charges. They have one more Trinket Warp than
They're going to go over the wall trying to find EGM, but he jukes out all of the skill shots. No Sonic Wave, no Winter's Bite going to connect, and he will keep himself alive. And the Baron not going to be going down, so the Chiefs will get the respawn in onto Spooks, and they'll just hold on for a little bit longer. Now the curtain call coming out. Ray's going to get the command protect, but he used Shockwave, and he just gets annihilated. Fury gets the killing blow, and they take out Raze.
I mean, Raze was expecting a tickle because he had full health, and then suddenly he didn't, and the missing health damage did so much. Chase is looking for it.
Yeah, he's pretty far forward. Swiper not going to get rooted, but might go down to the back line. Now Swiper coming in on the sidelines. He is able to find Fury. Swiper did fall. They do knock out that cannon. 2 downs on the Chiefs so far, but there goes Chaser as well. A 2 for 2 overall, and Longzhu starting to slip up a little bit here. Trading evenly with the Chiefs, and they'll take that any day as they've been in a deficit since this game began.
I fully expected the Chiefs to be trying to attempt to initiate fights from the flanks, but I wasn't thinking of Orianna to be the champion to do that. That's a Cannon's forte. But Swiffer now has sniped away assassinated champions multiple times.
Oh, yeah,
Hail Mary arrow.
Yep, Frozen not going to get hit by that one, and Fury's already dead, so he's not going to get caught by that one off screen. Again, Chiefs, though, are able to take down this Tier 1 turret, their second of the game. Haven't been able to knock down that one in bottom quite yet, especially on the chase. EGM pretty low, but look at this. It's going to be a Mountain Drake going over to the Chiefs.
Pretty cute itemization. We were expecting the death cap, understandably, from Swiffer. Saw that second in game 1, but has gone Rylai's for a bit more catch. Now even command attack is a mini slow, and when you are against a poke comp, any sort of soft or hard CC can be powerful. As Pure doesn't have any armor himself, but they have so much damage, they're just looking for a window here to rush down the Baron.
Yeah, there's no vision control. This Baron's down to half HP.
They spotted it, but
things coming out. Spooks coming around the side, has the Ragnarok.
He's going to do it again.
No, he's not going to have it. Frozen is able to confirm the kill on the Baron, and that is going to be the Olaf going down on Longzhu. Can they find more? Swiper trying to juke out these shots. We'll take that 3rd and 4th. Down to half HP, the jump forward, there's Chaser. He's able to finish him off, Shockwave comes through, Pure and Frozen, gonna go low. Swiffer though, way too far forward, out of position, and he is gonna fall. A 3rd kill picked up for Longzhu, and suddenly the game is completely in their control. No slip-ups in this engagement.
That decisive call from Longzhu to force the Baron. The moment that they saw that Drake was completed by the Chiefs, they're like, we have the damage, Braum put up his shield, they went full on. Remember, if there were multiple members from the Chiefs, they wouldn't have had Unbreakable. They're a very squishy team. They would have been taken down. But they made the gambit. They made the aggressive call, and multiple kills, multiple inhibitor targets, potentially even multiple inhibitors. This is probably the game-deciding decision made by Longzhu to take that Baron.
That it is, yeah. We can see these 2 inhibitors going to go down in the top in mid, considerably faster than in game 1. They'll get both of those before the 25-minute mark. This is much more akin to our first series of the day with Unicorns of Love and INTZ. Chiefs just struggling to find a foothold, where in that first game they were fighting back so much. They just haven't been able to do so here.
I mean, in the first game, Longzhu just looked so clueless on how to accelerate the game. This is one way to do it. Now, consider, if Spooks walked up, Smite stole away, that was actually going to be very reminiscent of game 1. But this time, the Smite comes true from Longzhu. First kill the Olaf. Once again, Chaser, he's so sneaky about holding the second part of his Q to re-engage after a bit more poke comes out. And Swiffer, he's been there to clean up a couple of kills with cheeky backside engages Orianna. This time, pays for it with his life.
Yeah, pretty much just a desperation move from him. Says, you know what, I need to try to get rid of Frozen, or else the base is going to be broken. Unfortunately, can't finish off that Victor, and then their base suffers for it. Now just have this Tier 2 tower in the bottom lane to try to hold on to as their last bastion of hope outside of the base. But Longzhu, they're circling around like a bunch of hungry sharks moving in for this objective.
Because of the Rylai's pick, you don't have the same shield strength, so less options available for the Chiefs. Accumulation of minions this time, because of the super minions just auto-pushing, top and mid lane are pushed in for the Chiefs. They're really out of options here. Swiper might have the teleport, but he struggled to make use of it, and the items just aren't there. There's so much magic. There's double more Malmortius and Locket, even a Hex Drinker cheekily there for Fury, that you're only going to get CC from Swiper. You're not really getting any semblance of damage from specifically the Ken.
Yeah, and at this point of the game, it's really going to come down to one miracle of a shockwave from Swiffer to keep their hopes alive. Longshu just have so much pressure. Swiper's actually going to come in on the backside, has a slicing nails from down, only going to catch two. Fury's one of them, though. Goes into the Zonias, Pure in the front line, going to be chunked down, flashes away, has that Glacial Fissure coming out, and Frozen is able to finish off Swiper in the end. Now looking for more. The curtain call coming through. It's high noon. Spook's going to get hit by that last bullet, but he is still a very tanky Olaf. Makes it out with his life, but Longshu with that cannon dead, the TP gone. They're going to be looking for this last inhibitor. Finds Swiffer. Chaser yet again delivering with a beautiful Dragon's Rage. Will set them up, and that should be the end of the game as the Chiefs are just running back to their fountain, trying to make it out with their lives. But an unfortunate few in EGM he's gonna be the only one living at the end of this one. Longshu with these super creeps empowered by Baron are gonna knock down the Nexus, this time in 27 minutes, taking out the Chiefs and ending their run at IEM Oakland just a little bit sooner than they had hoped.
Yeah, good decisive stuff from Longshu. Attempted the Baron, almost the Smite Steal this time, reminiscent of game one, but didn't come through. So Longshu can hold their heads high, but so can the Chiefs. Game 2 was still more competitive than any game we saw in the first series. Game 1 was a heart stopper for the Chiefs as well. So they came in with realistic expectations. I think everyone did. Are you going to beat a Korean team, a Korean top-level team? Probably not, but at least look competitive doing it. And while Australian fans will talk about the Chiefs not making it to semifinals, they will at least embrace the fact that this team went toe-to-toe with a Korean team and were in no way embarrassed.
Yeah, game 1 was definitely a very strong performance by the Chiefs. Unfortunately, couldn't find that foothold in game 2. But, I mean, hey, congratulations to Longshu. We'll be moving on to that semifinal match to play against the Flash Wolves.
The Korean Killers.
Yeah, the Korean Killers. But
that sounds quite malicious, actually.
It really is. But this time with 2 new members on the roster. Different top laner, different AD carry coming through. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Flash Wolves can put up when we come to that match. But of course, we also have to go through the Unicorns of Love and TSM rematch from, IEM San Jose when Unicorns of Love kind of exploded onto the scene and decimated TSM in that matchup.
It's quite fun, though, because both matches kind of have interesting strategic implications. Because Unicorns, will they be able to get away with their early games against a solid rotational team like TSM? And then talk about the Flash Wolves. Their early game was really their Achilles heel. I'm used to saying Achilles, you see. Achilles heel at Worlds, remember? They had all those games where 35 minutes ahead, then kind of make bad decisions and take out the game. Early game for Longshu is their strong suit, so might be quite reminiscent of some of those long games. Definitely leave the time ready for that best of 3, because it's going to be a long one.
And it is. Well, we'll deal with that one tomorrow. For now, we're going to throw over to the stage here for our Totino's Pizza Roll interview with one of our players from the winning team, Longshu. Take it away.
We are here at the Totino's winner interview, here with Longshu's Frozen. Congratulations on the match today.
네, 처음에 아주 축하드립니다, 이번 경기에.
Thank you. So, game number 1, you had a rough start, and you almost lost your lead when you finally got the lead mid-game, but then the Chiefs got the Baron steal. What was going through your mind, and how did you still maintain victory, even though you almost lost your lead?
이제 첫 번째 경기에 약간 불안한 시작으로 갔는데 그 중간쯤에 중심을 좀 잡으신 것 같은데요. 그 또 위기에 빠져들으셨잖아요. 그 상황에서 어떻게 승리를 찾으셨나요?
일단 제가 많이 흔들리는 모습 보였는데 팀원 4명에서 저를 많이 잡아줬어요. 네, 그래서 4명이 없었으면 지지 않았을까.
So he says he felt responsible for a lot of the earlier struggles, but he had 4 reliable teammates that he could rest his load on, and they bore a lot of the burden.
Well, you said that you rest a lot of that load onto your teammates. Now, you've been shuffling around your roster for a little bit. Do you feel like you finally found the right combination of players to really find success in not only the end of this year, but next year as well?
이제 롱주 게임단에서 그 선수들이 아주 많고 아주 뛰어난 선수들도 많은데 이제 그 선수들이 이제 같이 모여서 팀으로 활동하는 게 이제 중심을 잡으셨나요?
일단 저희가 시즌 초부터 많은 스쿼드를 사용했는데 계속 이제 이 스쿼드는 이게 장점이고 저 스쿼드는 저게 장점이고 했어요. 그래서 모든 장점을 가질 수 있게끔 다 같이 열심히 해서 지금 제 좋은 경기력 만들어 가도록 이번에 보여드리겠습니다.
알겠습니다. So out of the many players that they do have on their roster, they're dividing into 1 squad, 2 squad, this squad that's good at that, this squad that's good at task B, and they're hoping that with all of their squads together, they'll be able to produce good results moving forward.
Well, now next up, you guys are going to be competing against the Flash Wolves. What do you guys think that you have to do in order to make sure that you guys get victory against them?
이제 다음 경기는 저 플래시 wolf하고 할 것인데요. 이제 거기서 승리를 찾으실 거면 어떻게 하셔야 될 것 같으세요?
저만 잘하면 될 것 같아요.
He thinks that all he has to do is hold up his end of the line.
Well, I think you have in this game, and I think you will in the next game. Congratulations, and
또 한 번 축하드립니다.
And that is it for day number 1, and congratulations to our winners today. We have Unicorns of Love, Stanford, and Longzhou. Congratulations. Back to you guys.